products and in an industry. I find that an encouraging process, and I think we have all seen that it's possible for ideas to materialize in this case, I would say in software, in interface culture, and I think it is possible for theory to play such a role.
Yeah, well, I would definitely agree, and I would say that one way, not the only way, but one way to think about theory for today, tomorrow is that theory can be about building tools, right? Like for example, nowadays we have already released, we haven't exactly publicized it because we have to document it, but we have released a series of open source tools to build an lab, which would allow anybody to do the kind of quantitative analysis and visualization patterns in visual media they're doing, even hopefully, right, lead people to new insights and will help people develop their own theory. So maybe this kind of software, right, which starts as a materialization, right, or actualization of particular ideas, become kind of meta theory, right? Because just as it becomes a kind of method. Of course, there's the same danger as with all other methods, where method is ready to become something that can be used mechanically, but hopefully will not happen. Right? So that's one way to think about theory. So we don't want to say that theory, we still want to develop concepts, generalizations. But one way to do theory is to develop software which materializes or makes possible certain research approaches.
But which concepts, for instance, have you seen, from your perspective, that really materialized in a lot of software? Can you think of certain? Because I'm trying to encourage the students here to develop those kinds of concepts, because that's incredibly powerful, and I think we still have a positive role to play. And I think we can proclaim the death of theory in the old type of sense, but that's not what it is about.
Well, I don't think it's about the death of theory, but we can remember a famous quote from Marx, who said philosophers have traditionally tried to understand the world, and he didn't say I'm proposing a theory, I'm proposing a philosophy. He simply said, I see my job is to change the world.
Yeah, it's still there. When you enter the hall of Humboldt University in Berlin, this phrase is still there, and they kept it there, funny enough. So it's still there. Yeah.
So, I'm sure we can spend 3 days discussing this phrase, because, of course, what's interesting is we have this period of, let's say, enlightenment, right? And modernity for about beginning, let's say, the very end of, basically 200 years ago. So it's not such a long period, right? So we have modernity, we have formation, we have formation of big city, we have formation of this kind of urban intellectual, who is this educated person who lives in the city, who is kind of automatically opposed to society, avant-garde artist. We also have separation between humanities, right, natural sciences and arts. And we have a feeling that now things are changing, and every single of these formations and separations seems to be mutated, right? So what I would say is I think another way to make a kind of fresh theory is something I've been encouraging my students here, is to say, well, people said recently, I don't know, but somebody said that we only discovered it in the 21st century without the intersections of different disciplines, would be done by interdisciplinary team, that no academic discipline, whether it's physics, chemistry, biology, can actually do interesting things on their own, because we did everything we could. Now, you probably know these famous maps of science, right? And if you look at this map of science, which we have connected with consecutive disciplines, but we're all pretty connected. When humanities is somewhere like the corner, and humanities have like a little bit of connection to social science, but we have no connection to anything else. No. And just to remind you that with science, what people do is they take millions of scientific publications, and they simply analyze citation, when you see which people talk to each other.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked when I saw it. I really had a close look at that Web of Science, and it really puzzled me, and it's kind of shocking.
So what I've been encouraging students here, I said, okay, you guys, because I have students here who study now, in our PhD program, which is sort of art history, visual culture, media theory in a traditional sense. And I said, why don't you're here for like 5-6 years at university, and you are at one of the leading research universities in the world. What you should do is you should get a second specialization in anything you want. Anything you want, as long as it's sufficiently far from humanities.
Okay.
So go get specialization in evolutionary biology.
Medicine or...
Yeah, go get specialization in microeconomics. Go get specialization in contemporary political theory. With a specialization is where you don't just take one class, but you take about 3-4 classes, so you really quickly understand a different method, not just the concept, but a different method, a different way of thinking with discipline. And I have a strong feeling if people who do it, I actually I don't really know any people in humanities right now who've done that. But the people, young people who do it, I'm sure that will produce, interesting and fresh analysis.
Here we also discussed this afternoon. We looked into a text, in fact, from Bangalore, which discusses, the whole rise of the so-called digital natives, the people who were born after 1980. That's the official definition. The young people that we have in our classes. We quickly checked here, but there's in fact here at EGS is only one person who was born after 1980. So they're kind of still, on the brink of. They've just been born a little bit before that, but and then we looked at how your methods or how in general the new tools that are becoming available would be of any help for this young generation to develop its own vocabulary, and maybe also to get away from the constant barrage of critique of the older generation, that they are stupid, they haven't read enough books, they're ignorant, and so on. There's a whole, of course, rhetoric now developing around the so-called digital natives, that they can't do this, they can't do that, and so on.
Yeah. Well, I would say a couple of things. First of all, I get my best the best information or the best analysis which I get about these issues are from various industry reports, right? So these companies produce these reports, sometimes, based on, quantitative analysis and statistics. And of course, there's the digital natives where people, millennials, right? So there's Generation Y, Generation C. So people are making fine distinctions, which is very useful. But I would say is that, like every idea, like every big idea, we should also approach it a little bit critically. And what I'm finding is that, at least when I teach my classes to undergraduates at UCSD, and these are all people born after 1980, right? Well, actually, we were all 20 years old. Mm-hmm. I find that I'm much more digital native than they are. So I'm finding, I have a speak for my classes, and half of them never use speak.
Lost. One more time. You can click up there on his profile.
This is called.
You're almost there. On the bottom.
In here?
The future is now.
No, he's calling himself. So, yeah, see? Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. Well, in other words, there's this kind of stereotype, right, or ideal picture of a digital native, person who can install software, a person who can use, who uses advanced social media services, etc., etc. I think in reality, I'm sure people exist. I haven't met them yet in person, right? So to that extent, I kind of wonder. I'm sure we do exist, but somehow, maybe the students are simply too busy to do that. The second thing is that, the reason we kind of put the energy here in development of this statistical